Hey everyone. So we got two special guests today. We got Mitch Roye and Richard Knowles. How you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic. Nick, how are you, my man?
Good, pretty good. Yeah.
You're doing amazing.
So
Great day today.
yeah, yeah. It's a good day. So I'll start with you, Richard. Let's see. We can maybe to start by you tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having us on this podcast. I'm very grateful to be here with you.
Mhm.
Um, and a bit about myself. My name is Richard. I've been doing real estate since 2018. I have an engineering background. I'm a software engineer as well, and my parents taught me to go up the corporate ladder. That's how you become successful in America. But then in 2018, I came across a video on YouTube about how to build passive income, and that's just shifted my mindset to start building more passive income, right? So, long story short, I started in 2018 in private money lending to fix and flippers, then kind of shifted to Airbnb and multifamily, and then COVID hit. So I kind of shifted over to wholesaling and creative finance, and that's when I joined Subto, and that's how I met the both of you and changed my life.
Yeah.
So that's me in a nutshell. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And then how about you, Mitch?
Nick, again, thank you for the opportunity. Pleasure to be
Yeah.
here. I've been a full-time investor for about 20 years, and prior to that, I was a suit. I was a consultant, flew around the world and re-engineered companies and strategic planning. Got into real estate and was involved in single and multifamily development, fix and flips, ground up construction, cash flow rentals, and then this thing called creative finance, which I learned about 3.5 years ago when Rich and I first joined the mentorship. I think we were the first 100 students, and
Oh
prior to that,
wow.
I didn't know what creative finance was. Never even heard of Subto or seller finance. Didn't know anything about that, and so it's been a whirlwind education process over the last 3.5 years to learn about this and work with just a lot of amazing people.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So it seems like you guys, so you've been doing real estate for how many years now, you said? Again, it was about
20. I started when I was 4.
1 year, four. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. But then Richard, you started a little bit, you said 2018, so it's been about 5 years.
Yeah, about 5 years, right around there.
Okay. And
Just
when
out
did
to California.
okay. When did you start doing your engineering job? Like when did you start your engineering job? And then eventually how many years until you started really like learning about real estate, you say?
Yeah, so I went through 7 years of school. I went through undergrad, and then I went to get my master's as well. So I graduated from Rutgers University with a master's in computer engineering in 2012. 2012.
Okay.
Um, so that's what started my engineering career in 2012.
Yeah.
We had jobs at big companies like ESPN, Disney, Priceline, Twitter. Um,
Okay.
and 2018 is kind of, and I was also freelancing on the side as well. So I was pretty much working night and day, just trying to make extra money and things like that.
Yeah.
And when I saw the video on YouTube about wholesaling and buying whole properties, that's how you build wealth. And I'm like, you can just switch over to this real estate stuff and see
Yeah.
how it goes. And yeah, it's been great ever since. So yeah.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Yeah, because I'm like you, I'm an engineer as well. So kind of similar. Started in like 2015, started working. Then I
Mhm.
was like, I kind of do a little bit, need to do a little bit more to kind of invest and, build wealth in the future. So
Yeah,
yeah, I can kind of relate to that for sure.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and are you guys, I think you and Mitch, you guys have been working together as like kind of like business partners, or how's you guys is like, I know you guys first started Sub 2 when the first 100 people. So how did you guys kind of like go about that? I don't know if Mitch, you want to take it or
I'm going to let Richard tell this story. He's been telling the story for 3 years, and he does a really good job at it.
okay. All right, Richard.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
I tell a story? It's funny because I'm not a great storyteller, but this story I can tell very well. Um, but yeah, so this is in the beginning of 2021, and I'm still fresh in sub two. I mean, it's been about maybe 6 or 7 months in sub two, and
Hmm.
I had a hot lead in San Diego. I'm in LA, and Mitch is in San Diego area, and I had a hot lead in San Diego. It was like a development opportunity, and I didn't have that experience with development. So I was learning everything I could about how to speak to the seller, what are the terms, acronyms I need to know just so I can build that rapport with the seller and lock it up.
Yeah.
So I had an appointment in San Diego, so I told Mitch, "Hey, I'm going to be in San Diego this day. Why don't you come with me?" And we knew each other from Sub Two previously. We both leaders of Sub Two, but we didn't work together, right?
Mm.
So I said, "Hey, why don't you come with me on this appointment?" And we said, "Yeah, sure. It's right down the street." Okay, perfect. So I'm driving 3 hours. He says, "I'm driving from LA. I'm driving 3 hours, and I'm practicing what I'm going to say. I'm thinking in the car, practicing my pitch, practicing my script, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I'm dressing properly. I have a collar suit on and everything, and I'm ready to cross it. What I'm saying, but I'm still nervous. So I get to the appointment and I see Mitch. And I'm, "Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? How you doing?" We chop it up for a little bit, and then we greet the seller. Right? I say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, how you doing?" He says, "How you doing?" And then I promise you, I did not get one word after that. Like Mitch had a little bromance thing going on, and Mitch really took over the whole appointment and closed the deal. Pretty much, I'm sitting right here. Mitch is right here. The seller's right here, and I'm just like, okay, what am I doing here? Like they are having
Yeah.
a romance. They're laughing, they're talking, they're smiling. You know, and Mitch just closed that deal. So I'm like, wow, that was amazing. So
Yeah.
I saw the strength and the superpower that he had. And I'm like, man, let's just work together. We're both leaders of Sub 2.
Right.
So instead of just, working separately, just work together and help other people, And that's what we've been partners ever since.
Oh, awesome. All right. So what about Mitch? What's your side of the story? Do you have something similar, or is it when you met Richard?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of affectionately call each other brothers from another mother. It's kind of weird. We have this really, really weird relationship. He'll be thinking of something, and I'll send him an email saying the same exact thing, or I'll be
Yeah.
thinking of something. He's like, I was thinking, we're like on the same wavelength. It's my wife is starting to wonder about us. She's like, are you guys going to move in together? And so but so we're on the same wavelength. But more importantly, and we were talking about this, we had a Zoom call earlier with part of our team. We share the same moral compass, and in terms of how we see the world, how we treat other people, and a lot of this comes from Pace. He set the vision when he set the mentorship of what he wanted, and as leaders in the Southern California region, that's something we've implemented and done our best to implement throughout our entire leadership role, and that's setting the right moral compass, taking care of others, being respectful to one another, working with each other, helping sellers. And this is what
Yeah.
Richard and I do on our team. We have 15 people. We teach our team, when you talk to a seller, you're not an investor and you're not a salesperson, you're a problem solver. And you should be
Yeah.
doing 20% of the talking and they should be doing 80. You should be learning about what are their challenges, what are their problems, and collect information, all the while building rapport, trust, and credibility to build that relationship with the seller so that we can come back to them with solutions that create a win-win. And sometimes it does it. Sometimes we say, you know what, we're not the best resource, but here's what you should do. And
Yeah.
it back. And so that's the vision we've set in our world and in the Southern California region that we oversee as Sub 2 leaders.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I think like right now, I've never really had a partner, so I want to ask, and I think you kind of touched on it already, but like when looking for like a business partner to kind of work and build that company, I know you said one is to kind of have the same morals, but is there anything else that you can add for like advice for people to like that are looking for business partners? Yeah.
You got to trust each other. You got
Yeah.
to trust each other. I mean, I would give him my bank account. I wouldn't even think twice. If you can't trust someone and know they're going to do the right thing, doesn't matter how smart or good they are, you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. So you got to just know in your heart of hearts, you trust this guy. He's got your best interests, always looking out for you. We don't always agree on everything, but that's okay. We can have an honest conversation and we
Yeah.
trust each other at the end of the day. And that for me is what really matters, having the trust, but also having the same vision and the way we do things. Again, we don't always agree on everything. And if we disagree on something, we're both pretty cool about it. Like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's try it. Let's try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll try option B later.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's good. What about you, Richard? Do you have any advice for like people looking to kind of look for a partner to like build their business or anything like that?
Yeah, I think Mitch touched on it very well. You want to make sure that you partner with somebody you can trust, somebody who's loyal, right?
Yeah,
So how do you figure that out? You want to have a dating phase, right?
yeah,
Mitch and I had a dating phase, not intentionally, but like just being leaders of Sub Two, we kind of worked
right.
together already many times. And then when I had the solid appointment, it's like, okay, it's time to take the next step. But yeah, you definitely want to have a dating phase when you work with a possible partner, like a
Mm,
trial period of some sort, to see how it would be like working with that person. So set that upfront contract with that person before you become official partners. But
got
yeah.
it. Yeah, no, that
And
makes sense.
you really see that when things are pretty rough. When things are going great, you really don't get a sense of who a person is. It's when things are looking pretty bleak and things are bad. That's when you see what someone's made of and what they're really
Yeah,
going to do. When their back's against the wall and the poop's hitting the fan, what's that guy going to do? How's he going to
yeah,
respond? And that says a lot about a person, their moral character. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Every business decision is a people decision.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like, especially in this business of real estate, it's a lot of relationships. So that's very big, and if you can't find a partner that's, you kind of jive with, it's like, maybe it's not meant to be. So
Well,
yeah,
also look at the world we're in. There's a lot of money, a lot of dollars, and there's a lot of opportunity for greed and theft and doing the wrong thing. And it happens, often.
yeah,
And so you got to be careful of that. And there are people in the world that do that kind of stuff. So you really got to be aware
yeah,
of that.
yeah. No, definitely. So I guess next question would be like, what would you guys say is your biggest challenge you're facing right now in your business?
Great question.
You want to start, Richard, or who wants to start? Mitch or Richard?
I can start. I
Yeah.
think the biggest challenge is going through growing pains. We have about 14, 15 people on our team now, and that's a big jump from us usually having about 6 or 7.
Okay.
So when you go to teams, more people to manage, number one, and systems as well, processes, SOPs. You have to create SOPs for everything.
Yeah.
So it becomes a time-consuming task, and just trying to get organized when you have more people. So that's kind of our biggest challenge right now. Go through the growing pains, which everybody goes through. That's how you scale
Yeah.
up. Right? You have to go through those growing pains. It's necessary to be uncomfortable to grow, right? I'm not saying it's an uncomfortable process per se, but I'm just saying that you have to overcome these challenges or obstacles, right, to get to the next level. So we're working on that. We're trying to scale. We do very well as a small team, 3 or 4 or 5 people, but if you want to expand to, doing 10, 30, 40, 50 deals a month, you're going to have a bigger team, right? So that's kind of
Yeah.
what we're going through right now. So.
Got it. Okay. What about you, Mitch?
I will echo what Richard said. I think the challenge is, and please take this in the right way. We're good at a lot of different things, and there's so many opportunities. It really comes down to prioritizing 1 to 2 to 3 things versus 20, focusing on those things and then systematizing it and scaling it. And realizing that whatever we're doing 6 months ago may not be working anymore. There's the flavor of the month. So you're always, people ask me how long you've been doing this. I always tell them I'm a newbie. And I truly mean that because I'm learning new things every day from everyone. And what we might have been doing a year ago or even 9 months ago might not be working anymore because the market is
Yeah.
continually fluid and changing. And that's another thing. You have to be very flexible and adaptive in this business and keep your finger on the pulse of what's changing, whether it's interest rates, buyer preferences, and be able to switch and change on a dime. And so that's what Richard and I are always looking at. The other thing we're looking at, and we learned this from Pace, is working on the business versus in the business. And I think
Mm,
that's what really distinguishes people that reach really, really high levels, those who understand how to build a business by working on it versus in it.
yeah. So a lot of like delegation and stuff,
Delegation,
right?
putting systems in place and
Yeah.
processes, and that's one of Richard's strong points, and getting the right team members in place.
Right.
People with the same moral compass, that are committed to the same vision and work effort, and then moving forward as a team. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and I think Richard, you're a software engineer, right? So you have all those automation and processes down, right?
Don't let him fool you. He's a closer. Don't let him fool you.
Oh, and a closer too. So
Oh,
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Mitch always says I can do it all. But honestly, it just happens over time, just being around people, right? Just being around
yeah,
closers, being around, people with different skill sets, that's how you go, right? They always
yeah,
say you can't be the smartest person in the room, you gotta be the dumbest person in the room. That's how you go, right? So
yeah,
I just, kind of place myself around different people, and that's just helped me grow into, I guess a
yeah,
versatile type of person, So yeah.
yeah. Would you say so in the beginning you weren't so much a closer, but you kind of learned to be a closer? Is that kind of how you describe it? Like,
Yeah, I guess just me personally, like I just always watch a lot of live seller calls because that's how I
mm,
learn too about how to talk to sellers or how to underwrite, and what kind of questions to ask sellers. And just
yeah,
by watching those calls, I kind of picked up on those, um, you know, objection rebuttals, how to talk to the seller, like tonality, and how to mirror the seller, things like that, different tactics, sales tactics. I just picked it up over time. I don't really watch TV that much anymore, or Netflix, or
yeah,
things like that. I'm constantly watching YouTube, or learning new things, and it's like Kobe Bryant's mentality. The more you practice,
yeah,
the more advanced and the higher level you'll be than others, right? If everybody's practicing once a day, but you're practicing 3 or 4 times a day, you're guaranteed to be better than those people, right? So
yeah,
um, that's kind of the same thing for me. I'm constantly watching videos, constantly learning. Just like Mitch says, we're newbies, right? We're constantly learning all the time, and that's how we just kind of got to where we are now. So yeah.
okay. No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, especially because I feel like even for myself, jumping on a seller call can be like a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think over time, the more you do it, the more you're just like, okay, I kind of get the flow of things and what to say, and you don't really have to have a script anymore. Now it's just kind of like you already know how it goes and how it flows. So, I guess what would you say? Do you have any new advice for, or any advice for new people entering into real estate business, like completely new, they want to jump in and they're looking to get started? Do you have anything you can kind of, shed light on put to them?
Is that
Let's
for
start
me?
with, yeah, let's start with Richard and then we'll go to Mitch. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, because Mitch and I think the same, so we don't know who's gonna go
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. We'll start with you first. Yeah, yeah.
So advice to get started in real estate, I would say squad up, collaborate
Okay.
with other people. Me when I started out in sub two specifically, I was getting analysis paralysis. I was trying to learn everything. Me and you as an engineer, we
Yeah.
have to understand the whole problem, have to understand everything.
Yeah.
You know, and with real estate or at least with creative finance, well, anything in general, you don't have to overthink, just take action. You don't have to know step 1 through 10 before you take action on step one, So that
Yeah.
was a big, I would call it a mistake. It was a learning experience for me, just trying to be perfect. But really, I should have just taken action early on. So my advice to people is just take action and squad up with people who are experienced, and that would, um, speed up your learning curve. So
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to add one thing to that too. Yeah. Cause I agree. Like, you can't really, when I got my first property and I was, planning on managing that property, I had like a book from Bigger Pockets just on how to manage rental properties. And I was barely on chapter 3. And then all of a sudden I had a contract going. I was like, oh shoot, like this is real. I'm in escrow. I
yeah,
was like, there's no way I'm gonna finish this whole book right now. It's like, once I started managing the property, I literally started learning on the go of like, hey, how do I go about if I need to evict this tenant? All right, now I need to research this and go to this.
yeah,
So yeah, I agree. You definitely just have to do it, and then you kind of like learn as you go. So,
yeah, 100%.
uh, what about you, Mitch? What advice do you have?
Again, I would echo everything Richard said. This business is a simple business, but it's not an easy business. And what I mean by
Yeah,
that is it's simple in what we're doing is pretty simple, but people come in like, oh, I'm going to make 100,000 and 6 months later, they haven't closed a deal, and their hearts just sink. And so I think what we're doing here, more so, but really in life, it's having the right mindset, realizing that 90% of the time you may not be getting results, and you got to stay positive, focused on your vision. But also, and I think Richard said it, this business is about taking action. This is not sitting in front of a screen and thinking. It's getting out and taking action consistently and persistently every single day. And for a lot of people, and I think you mentioned it earlier, fear. Stands for face everything and recover, but it's facing your fears. And a lot of us, most of us actually, will not take step one unless we know what step 2, 3, and 4 is, because it's too scary. It's human nature. It's uncertain. You got to take step one when you don't know what step 2 is, knowing that it's going to be okay. And if you don't know, Richard said, squat up with people who've done it and get you going and learn how to do it. So action, mindset, and continue to do it every single day, and it will happen. It will happen. Guaranteed.
Yeah. No, that's good advice for sure. Yeah, you just gotta jump into it and then just, trust that the next step, you'll figure it out as you go, and surround yourself with the right people too, to kind of help you with that.
And something else Richard and I were talking about earlier this week, there's different aspects of this business, and there's the personality aspect. If you're going to be a wholesaler, that's not a suit and tie corporate kind of cushy job. You're a shark. You're a hustler. You're out in the street. Boom, boom, boom. You're hitting it, which is a different mentality than being a developer or being a fix and flipper. So if you're going to go into different aspects of the business, understand what your personality type is, and does that fit with that type.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, that makes sense. So I have a bonus question, just more for fun. Mitch, we'll start with you. What do you like to do outside of real estate, whether it be a hobby, a passion, or just anything for fun?
There's something outside of real estate?
I know, right? It's hard for me to think about too. I'm like, real estate is my hobby, But is there anything outside of it that you would say you like to do, just whether it be traveling, I don't know, going to the beach or anything like that?
Love to travel, love to hang out with friends. Traveling is a big thing for my wife and I. That's what we love to do. I'm threatening to start playing my guitars again. Haven't played them in a long time, so I might start doing that.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah. What about you, Richard? What do you like to do outside real estate when you get the time?
Yeah, when I get the time, I like to play basketball. I think you know that already. You got to play ball sometime. I
Oh,
haven't
that's
played ball
right.
in a
Yeah.
long time. It's been a long time since I played ball, but yeah, I can play basketball. I used to play back in high school and previous, when I was younger. I also like to travel, of course. I love to travel with the family and go to the beach. That's why we live in California, because we have the beach. So yeah, I would say those are my top 3 things: travel, go to the beach, and play basketball. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. What's the last country you've been to?
Last
Travel to?
country I've been to Barbados. I went to
Barbados. Oh, that's
Barbados
nice.
in April. I think it was April. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a lot of fun. That was the second time we've been there, and just had to go back. So it was really a good trip. It was nice. I love
Okay.
the beach, right? So I love the islands in the Caribbean. So
Oh yeah.
I always got to go back there.
That's a good area for the beaches and stuff too. So yeah. But yeah, anyways, I just want to take the time to say thank you guys for jumping on. I think you guys, gave a lot of good, insightful information and advice. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys taking the time to do this interview.
Nick, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you. I
so
appreciate it.
much. Yeah.
Anything we can
All
do
right.
for you, just reach out. Happy to be of help.
Will do. All right.